Hi, this is storyteller Greg. I don't have the slightest clue where this particular show is going to go. It's show number 4. Um, I am going to start off with a story. It's a sad story, but it's something that I've been thinking about a little bit lately. It has to do with the Jewish Holocaust and the Nazis. And it goes like this. Well, he was a Catholic priest who happened to be a quarter Jew. And when the Nazis came to take the folks off to the camps, well, they took him off too. And Heinrich was a Nazi prison guard. He was Nazi through and through. And though he hated the Catholics, he just despised the Jews. When the when the Nazi prison guards first saw the little Catholic priest, the guard used the butt of his rifle to knock out some of the priest's teeth. The wee little man held up his hands to his face, and he muttered some words that sounded just a little bit like a grace. He said, I know there's got to be some love deep down inside of you. I guess if the Christ can love you, I can try too. And came the day that the Jewish priest was to take his poison bath, and Heinrich's fury had turned into full blown wrath. He laughed and told the wee little man that this was the day he was going to die. The little man said, and when I go, the Christ is going to touch you on inside. Heinrich watched the shaved naked people as they walked on through the door. Then Heinrich watched the shaved naked priest, who he knew would never see life any more. And when the last Jew had stepped inside who was going to die for that day, Heinrich felt something tugging at his soul, and he knew that it was Christ, the way. Heinrich left behind his Nazi prison gate because he now knew that the power of loving would always conquer the power of hate. But when the Nazis found him and they shot the Nazi prison guard dead, these were the very last words that the Nazi prison guard said. He said, I know there's got to be some love deep down inside of you. I guess if the Christ can love you, I can try too. You know, we talk about the idea that possibility, that we choose the problems and the scenarios that we just think would be interesting and conquer them. I'm not saying to believe that, only only if it helps you to care. You know, there's so many different ways we can look at life and so many different perceptions. We can take on the perception that helps us most to care, but what helps me is not going to help you. My son Michael was up all night last night sharing, they were playing some sort of game, Strategeria or something like that. And the two people he was playing with are fundamentalist Christians. And Michael is basically a Unitarian. Unitarians say, and they do often, that they celebrate all the differing beliefs. They celebrate the idea that the person sitting next to you in church may believe something totally different than what you do. But of course, the fundamentalist Christians don't. The fundamentalist Christians have a very specific idea as to what it's all about, what cosmology is all about. And I was telling Michael, the fundamentalism may not help you, but these friends that were playing the game with you, it might be vital for them to hang on to this fundamental belief that most help them to care. And Michael agreed with me. He said, yeah, you're right, Dad. I don't want to talk them out of their belief because maybe that belief is the one belief that will help them most to be a loving and a caring individual and to find ways to care in this world. I had an incredible day yesterday, just incredible day. Um, when I go to the grocery store or any kind of a store, any opportunity I get when I see somebody, I say, you have a good life. You and your entire family have a good life. It's a type of blessing. Well, anyway, I was saying that at the store, and some lady comes up to me and says, oh, you're giving out blessings again, I see. I said, well, life is so short and there's so much danger and fear right now that any little thing that we can say that helps people to be gentler, calmer, have a better day, we got to do it. We can't turn our back on one single opportunity to think positive thoughts and to say positive thoughts. Words have power. They have influence. Ah, I know what that's leading to. You know, somewhere along the line, I'm suspecting that all this business about choosing beliefs that most help us to care, choosing assumptions that most help us to care, is that it's happening. It's happening all across the planet because people are sick and tired of assuming those things that cause fear and anguish. They want to assume something different. They want to see life differently. They want to choose how they see. I don't think what I'm doing is revolutionary. I think it's happening. I think it's happening all over the world. You see a sign that says, try kindness, or another sign as you're driving down on a bumper sticker that will say, pay it forward, or another bumper sticker might say, love is what it's all about. I don't know. I think people are tired of assuming those things that bring fear and anguish to our lives. And I think that there's maybe I call it evolutionary. I think it's time. But part of what I'm choosing to do with my life is to talk about it. So I'm going to share stories about it. And I'm going to encourage you to assume those things in your life that most help you to deeply, honestly, and actively, not just passively, but actively care about yourself, all others, the earth, and what's beyond the earth, absolutely as best as you can. And for us to be leaders and to choose leaders who have positive assumptions about themselves and the world around them. And that a leader that might embrace disregard, we withdraw our support from them. And we give our support to the leaders who embrace caring. Um, I think it's happening. I think it's happening all around the world. And I think people, I don't care what religion, what faith, what political party, people are tired of being afraid. They want to start caring. And I think it's just part of what's going on now on the planet. I could be wrong, but I suspect that this is the evolutionary next step. One of the things that I explore in my storytelling is the idea of a tipping point. Maybe we are changing bit by bit, but there's going to come a tipping point when it just leans, the whole thing leans that way, and then lo and behold, choosing assumptions that help us to care become the norm all throughout the planet. And what is the tipping point? I don't know. Now, I tell a story, and I'm not going to sing the whole story, but of a little boy working with a blacksmith, and the blacksmith is having one rotten day, and he gets a horse that has to have the shoes put on, and the nails are crooked, and the shoe isn't quite right. And the blacksmith, does it all and watches the guy climb on the horse and ride away. Well, what happens is the shoe falls off, and the message that the guy was riding away never gets delivered, and the battle gets lost. Now, that's one part of the story. But what if the story goes differently? What if the little boy, the apprentice, he wakes up and he's feeling alive and full and vibrant, and he comes to work to help the blacksmith, and he says, I want to grow up and be just like you. I, I am so proud of being your assistant. I want to learn everything that you know. And what happens now is that the blacksmith does his very best. He makes sure that the nails are straightened before they go into the shoe, that the horseshoe is a good fit. And because of that, the rider is not thrown off the horse and the message is delivered. And the battle is won. And not only the battle, but the war is won. Now, I'm not trying to push the idea of battles and wars, but I am trying to push the idea of tipping point. Now, let me ask you a question. Who was the tipping point? Was it the little boy who said, You're my hero? Was it the blacksmith who did his very best in putting on the shoe? Was it the horse? Was the horse the tipping point? Was it the rider or the general who was leading the army. Maybe the tipping point was all of it combined. Maybe it was one of the individuals. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the tipping point. Or maybe you're going to see somebody special and you're going to say something kind to them, like, I hope you have a blessed day, or you and your entire family live well. You have a good life. You say something beautiful like that to somebody you never met before, and lo and behold, that's the tipping point. I don't know, but I wonder about the tipping points. And I don't think we can afford to pass up an opportunity to say kind things and to think kind things. I think it's in the Bible, I'm not sure, where it says, watch what you think, because the thoughts, your very thoughts, affect the people around you. Watch what you say, because your very words affect the people around you. Say kind things. Think kind things. I don't know where it's going to lead, but maybe you are the tipping point. Something I want to point out to you guys. I'm not embarrassed about it, but there's a very good chance that I have Parkinson's, and I'm going to be shaking more and more as I go through. This video is shaking a lot because the laptop is on my lap right now. I don't know. I don't want to apologize for it. Life is it's one of the paints that are in my life, and I have to include it somehow and try to make something beautiful from it. We'll see what I do with it as we go through life. But anyway, if you're wondering about the shaking, that's what it's all about. Something I want you to do. I want you to assume those things about yourself and the world around you that most help you to care. And I want you and your entire family to have a good life. I'll catch you later the next time around. This is Storyteller Greg saying goodbye.